Hi, this is Tom Kane, the voice of Jedi Master Yoda. And this is Inside the Force. Listen, you will. Foreseen it I have, yes.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hey everybody, Inside the Force. Welcome back. It's Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
As usual.
As per usual.
What
else am I going to do?
Welcome back. We've got, even though Star Wars The Force Awakens is behind us, we've got so much ahead of us still.
Oh, yeah.
So much to talk about, so much to get into. We'll catch you up on the latest movie news, of course, which is the next, which a little bit, I mean, not news on Rogue One, but that's the next movie coming. But, of course, we have several other things coming. We've got some comic news. We got some Rebels news. And some other little stuff that's kind of lingering out there. Of course, it's Oscar season.
Yeah.
Star Wars Force Awakens was nominated.
Some noms came out this morning.
Some noms.
Noms.
And I will just, I know it's not this franchise, but we will say a quick rest in peace to Alan Rickman.
Oh my gosh, yes. Wrecked me this morning.
Yes, very unfortunate loss there. I think a cancer, right? I think.
Yeah,
right?
and I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. He was just on Jimmy Fallon, I don't know, like less than a month ago, I think. About a month ago. Seemed fine.
I by far, he's not a guy you think of off the top of your head when you think of the best actors, but he's one of my favorite actors by far.
Absolutely.
You know, and I know him from, and I heard on the radio when I heard it on the radio this morning on the way to work.
Yeah.
I thought exactly what the guys that mentioned it on the radio thought. It was they're like, Hans Gruber died.
Yeah.
You know, like Die Hard. That's what I know him from.
That was his like first big movie.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah, his claim to fame was not fame. His famous line was always talking about how the only reason he got that role is because they didn't have enough money to pay anybody else.
Yeah.
So because all the money went to Bruce Willis,
right? Of course. No,
but
I think one of the first things I saw, I was trying to think of this today. Like, what was the first ones? And Die Hard. I can't remember the first time I saw Die Hard. First thing might have actually been Dogma.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was the voice of God.
Actually, and before that, maybe that was around the same time as Galaxy Quest. So I can't remember which I saw first, Dogma or Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, I think Galaxy Quest was a little after that.
Yeah.
Because Dogma was
they were both like into the 90s.
Dogma was 97, I think, 98, and then I think Galaxy Quest was right after that. But Galaxy Quest was great.
Oh my god,
Galaxy Quest was great. And then you're a big fan of Harry Potter.
Yeah, and I've said before when we did Popular Fanatics, because we had a thing about Harry Potter on that. You know, I kind of attribute Harry Potter as being almost my generation's Star Wars in a way.
Yeah,
as
I agree.
in
I agree with
it's
that.
just a huge cultural phenomenon for all me and my friends growing up, and it was just something that identified us and that we grew up with. You know, but now Star Wars is still the same. It is. Star Wars is like the all generations something. But Harry Potter was ours, and yeah, it's incredibly heartbreaking. But you know, he has a good life. He had a great life.
He did. So just wanted to briefly mention that.
Yeah.
Again, not part of this series, but would have been fantastic, I think, in any role if you could have got something for Star Wars. But all right, so let's just dive right into whatever movie news we got. What you got, Case?
Well, in terms of Force Awakens, it's still breaking all kinds of records. It's number one of all time, kind of in America. Domestically, I think it's still trying to catch up. To Avatar, worldwide. And I read some articles saying people are like, well, it might not beat Avatar worldwide.
It probably won't.
Yeah,
that's. I think I'm going to bring it up here.
Which is crazy because Avatar was out for a very long time.
It was, and what's crazy about Avatar was it gained later. I think so many there was a lot of people that didn't see Avatar in the beginning, and then finally word of mouth started spreading, and then what helped Avatar was I want to say Avatar, if I remember correctly, Avatar came out towards the end of the it was in December.
Yeah.
See, what helped it was it got nominated for Best Picture.
Oh gosh!
And then all of a sudden, you remember that? And then all of a sudden, people said, "Oh, I got to go see it," and it was still in the theater then. So I think if you look at it, there's all of a sudden it went back up.
Yeah.
Even though it was tailing off, and then it went back up. So that helps. Unfortunately, Star Wars, the Oscar nomination, one of them is not Best Picture. So I think it's going to be very difficult. They said it's going to be very difficult for it to catch. Now it should beat Titanic.
Yeah, I think although Titanic was out for I felt like almost a year.
And Titanic was out twice because it got re-released for 3D.
Yeah.
And I think it actually got re-released for an anniversary thing. But anyway, but it's only about 400 million behind Titanic right now. But it is $1 billion away from Avatar, which it's just not gonna.
That's insane.
I mean, it had a good opening in China, but it didn't have a great opening.
Yeah,
like it said great, but it was only like 58 million.
For them. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's like one of the highest over there. But
right, but it would have to do like 500 million over there to even have a chance.
The exact same, like the opening once again. It has to have that same kind of like
right.
crazy opening. But no.
But what it has a chance to do here, and I don't know if it'll happen now, because I just don't know if it'll happen now. But you know that this will probably be re-released before Episode 8 comes out, so it'll have another showing.
Yeah,
but it could be the first domestic $1 billion movie. Like it's about 180 million away right now, 178. So it may not get there. It could get there still. It could get 178 million in the next few weeks. Domestically, but if it doesn't, if it re-releases again, it definitely will.
Oh yeah.
So it'll probably end up being the first $1 billion domestic movie. So
crazy.
But yeah, it's I mean, we both knew it was going to be big, but did you really think it was going to be this big?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would. I was like, I was hoping it'd be Avatar. I was hoping it would be number one and everything. I don't know. Like, I want to say yes, but I'm still pleasantly surprised and excited by its success. Because, like, I think what I was most surprised and didn't foresee was because I work at a high school, so just hearing all the students talk about how they're seeing it multiple times, which I didn't expect that, honestly. I just because
that's what it takes.
Yeah, that's definitely what it takes. Because I never considered Star Wars being that, I guess, important or that involved in this current generation in high school, these current teenagers, like in their kind of circles. Like I didn't think, because honestly, Star Wars, all they had growing up they were about 7 or 8 when Episode 3 came out. So they really didn't have much in the last 10 years besides Clone Wars, and a lot of people that I can think of even saw Clone Wars. So I was just surprised at the enthusiasm and the excitement to see it multiple times. That was pretty good, exciting, pretty cool.
Yeah, and like I still saw posts this past weekend from Facebook friends that were just seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
So there's and then the fourth time I saw it, which was I think
last weekend,
right? There's packed theater still,
really?
Middle of the afternoon on Sunday, So it's it's definitely still trending high. I mean, the percentage change is what you really got to look at. And the first week there was only a 39.8 drop, which is actually really good.
Yeah,
because normally movies are between 50 and 70%. If they're even if they're really good, it's still about half your audience comes back. Maybe a little bit less than half your audience comes back. But what's amazing is that the third weekend, it only dropped another 39%. But then, of course, 53 this past weekend, that's where it starts. That's when it's going to start. So next week, I'm anticipating this coming weekend, I bet you it's probably, and again, this is domestically. So, I don't know about overseas really, but domestically, like I would anticipate that to be around probably 55-60% for next week. So I might do 20 million or so this coming weekend. which will only put it about 840. So it probably won't even make 900 domestically, but
It's still not. Yeah, it's still awesome, man. And also another thing I was surprised. I didn't think it would break those records that fast, like the fastest to a billion, fastest to 300 million, that kind of stuff. That was
it shattered it.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't even close.
Yeah, oh yeah, within like a week or something like 7 days, 8 days.
What took Avatar 70 days, it did in like 16 or something like that. Yeah. I think it was to reach 700. I think, which was ridiculous, but yeah, I mean, I still want to go see it again. I want to take Brooke, my wife. So I'm still going to try to see it again. It'll still be in the theaters, I think, through, what do you think?
March.
I think through March.
Yeah.
And then probably get pulled. Yeah, because April is coming out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and usually you'll see movies that are out like the week right before it comes out or something like that. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
Tied together.
Okay.
Yep. So, I mean, everybody's just talking about episode 7. Everybody's talking about theories and trying to explain. Well, explaining episode 7, but it leads into episode 8, like what we will see in episode 8.
Yes.
So nothing really official too much. John Boyega the other day said how he's read the script, obviously, because they're shooting it and doing some, they're starting that process of it. And he says that Finn will have a more physical role,
right,
in episode 8, and it's going to be much darker, which, I guess I kind of guessed, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe they won't, but I kind of feel like they might go the route of like 4, 5, and 6, where, I think it's just natural for movies to do this anyways. The second one will be much darker, much more serious, and kind of mature as the series goes on.
Right.
But I'm curious to see what exactly role he will play, honestly, because what's more for what arc could he possibly have? What other arcs could he have to go through? Because episode 4 is very clear of him coming to terms with leaving the Empire or the First Order, and kind of making that transition to being a good guy. So I don't know what, maybe episode 8 could continue that story in a way, but it's interesting to speculate what exactly he'll do for that. But other than that, there's really not much with episode 8. Benicio del Toro said that he said that he's going to be a villain.
Yeah.
Which I thought was actually a kind of funny interview, because he's like, well, that's what everybody's speculating. Everybody pretty much can guess. So I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. Yeah, I'm a villain.
Who could he be? Could he be like one of the Knights of Ren?
I mean, if he is, he can't be the leader.
No.
Kylo's I would think he's...
Well, Snoke is the leader, and then
Supreme. So either Ren... I'm sorry.
Just
either,
another general or something?
He could be First Order guy, which might be the most likely case, or he could be like someone who's with Snoke. He's just kind of Snoke's personal henchman or whatever, wherever he is.
Right.
Maybe that could be a thing, but because we might still not get a lot of Snoke.
Because it's a pretty big name,
to
attach. I mean, he's an Oscar winner.
Yeah,
he's a very, very talented actor. So it's you don't just throw him in an Imperial officer outfit and have him stand there. You know what I mean? So I think he'd be a pretty prominent role.
Yeah, I mean, maybe because we still might not see a lot of Snoke in 8, so he might kind of be that,
right? Take
that place of Snoke. Kind of, Kylo might talk more with him as an intermediary or something like that.
I'm actually surprised now to think about it a little bit. Since they are hiring him to do, I'm almost surprised that Hux survived. You almost because he's obviously going to be in it if he's alive.
Yeah, but
kind of replace that authority character.
That's true.
But if he's in there, and I got to think he's. Unless he's, dare I say it? Unless he's like a bounty hunter or something, or one of those underworld type characters. I don't know.
He could be, very much so. So we're a little. Let's see, a year and 4 months.
Oh yeah, less than a year and a half.
That's just awesome. But so we got Rogue One coming out this December. Not too much news on that, because last week I think we talked about the plot.
Yes,
about that.
And I am actually really jacked up for that movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we talked about it at work the other day. Because you don't. We don't know anything about it. all we know is somewhat of the storyline. Obviously, the rebels going after, but we've got one image from the set or whatever, or the cast.
Yeah.
And all we've seen are the rebels, right? So we don't know what villains are going to be in there, and just the thought of Vader still, even making an appearance.
Yeah.
But then you also have possibility of a bunch of bounty hunters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, I'm stoked,
Maybe Tarkin.
man. Yeah, maybe a Tarkin. Yeah. I hope Boba Fett's, I hope that's inevitable. I hope, like Dengar or Bosk. I mean, that would just be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
IG-88 actually doing some cool stuff. Like all these guys actually doing awesome things. I read a little rumor today that if Vader, is it confirmed that he's going to be in it?
I think it's been confirmed, but I don't think Star Wars has really announced it.
But they're saying that the rumor is that the team recreating Vader's costume, whatever, they're trying really close to make it look as much as possible as how it did in Episode 4, because it looked very different than from 4 to 5.
Right,
it's kind of like a more matted, look, not so clean and shiny, And I think I read that they're trying to mimic that look and that they pretty much nailed it. That it looks
really,
which I mean, that's cool that they're doing that.
So are they saying he got like an upgrade before he went to
Empire? I mean, that's kind of my apologetics for, is that he has actually changed Vader
finally changed costumes.
But because I'm thinking, why would you want to create something that actually wasn't perfect? Because his costume, the mask was a little off. It was not symmetrical. It was kind of weird. But that's cool. I think it's a good, awesome homage. It'll make it feel more like that era, I think, because you got to think if this takes place within a year, or maybe within a year.
Oh, I think it's leading right
into it, like, because it's this movie made in 2016, looks very cool and very crisp and digital. And then next movie is made in 77.
That's true.
I mean, definitely it's suspension of disbelief, which for me, for a lot of us is easy to do probably, but this is one nice little detail that they're trying to connect the two movies to make that transition a little more seamless.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about it like that.
And then it gets new again after Episode 6. It's like now we're back up to.
So they truly, thinking about that. I mean, they truly have to be careful about like the technology they show.
So if we see plans of the Death Star,
unfortunately it's got to look like that. It's got to look like Atari.
If they show it,
the Asteroid.
How would you feel about
that game, Asteroid?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I always tell people it's like playing a game of Pong. It's
exactly.
Little white squares going.
I will always say it, and I think we said it in our
we
commentary.
say it a lot. Yeah.
Like they, I'm okay with we're okay with the special editions and the changes. I know a lot of people aren't, but man, I wish they would have changed the Death Star plans in Episode 4.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it was flat; it didn't have to be 3D, but just improve what you saw on the screen, and I mean, which makes you think that they would have definitely done it, since you see the plans in Episode 3, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he shows them the Death Star plans, and it's like,
2 was it 2?
I'm sorry, Episode 2, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So we saw the plans there, a glimpse of the plans there. So that just take that and translate it.
Some people try to explain it, and there's like groups out there that are like, well, the Republic don't have that many resources. It's been kind of the technology has been kind of suffocated, and we kind of stopped from advancing so much. So I mean, I understand that's fine, but then in Episode 6 you get good plans in Episode 6. It kind of goes back and forth a bit. So
maybe if they would have, instead of going to Yavin and went to Home 1, they would have saw it better. Maybe. Yavin. That's
so
the only.
Home 1's got some good stuff.
Like, sorry, but all we have is an 8-bit screen here. We don't have anything else to show this on. It actually does look better.
We got a DOS system down here.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Or maybe for some reason R2 didn't extract it right or something like that. I don't know.
You unplugged them without properly ejecting them, so it's a little corrupt. You got, gosh.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
That's awesome. So Rogue One, very excited about
that.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be great. And I watched the teaser just today because one of my students hadn't really heard of it much. He thought it was actually about something else, and I showed him the teaser. He didn't know it was like a prequel, kind of.
Yeah.
He thought, wait, so they built the Death Star again? I was like, no, this actually takes place before all this stuff. And so he's, then he got kind of excited about it.
So you saw the one they showed at Celebration, right?
Yeah. So it was like that bootlegged version of it. They just need to
Yeah, a lot of people
officially-
keep still claiming like, oh, that's fake. You know, I'm like, no.
That's
My
real.
buddy at work, Jeb, he said he showed his buddy that thing, and they're like,
Yeah.
dude, that's fake. And he's like, no, this is what they showed at Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's not part of the movie
Yeah.
necessarily. You know, I mean, there was nothing shot at the
Yeah.
time, so I don't think they're going to incorporate it. But yeah, that was legit. We left that day, so that's why we didn't see it. I kind of kicked myself for that, but because I didn't know, I knew they were doing something, but I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, that was very much of a surprise. So after that,
Did they live stream that?
no, they
didn't live stream that. No, okay.
no, they wouldn't have. I wish they did.
Yeah.
So after that, some news about the Han Solo film, which is still untitled. They've been casting for that, looking at it was like 1,200 or something like that, or 2,000 or whatever. How many actors to play Han Solo? It looks like Disney and Lucasfilm has narrowed their search for the young Han Solo. This comes from Variety. But for 12 actors, I know most of them. There's a couple I don't know. First one is Miles Teller, who was in Whiplash, Fantastic Four. He's been in several things. You know, he's kind of now up and coming. Miles Teller. I never remember how to pronounce this guy's name. Ansel Elgort, he's in a lot of these. This new kind of young. I don't know what I would call it. Almost like a Brat Pack of today, where you have the Fault in Our Stars. You know that movie? Well, he's in Fault in Our Stars. He's in the Insurgent, Divergent, Convergent movies.
Yeah.
He's in with Shailene
talking
Woodley. He's in like them too, and there's like these other younger actors that are doing all these kind of movies, and he's
one of those guys.
He's a heartthrob kind of whatever. Dave Franco is one. Jack Raynor. If I'm saying that right, Raynor.
He's from the one from Jurassic Park or Transformers.
He looks like Chris Pratt.
Yes.
He also looks like a Han Solo, but
Chris Pratt would be.
He'd be good Indiana Jones. I want him to be Indiana Jones.
Yes, I agree. I agree. But he's too old to be Han Solo in this point.
This guy, he was in Transformers. He was in something else I can't think of. But he's young too. He's my age. Of course,
most of these guys have got to be in their 20s at least.
Yeah, I think Dave Franco's a little older, late 20s. This guy from Fault in Our Stars and Miles Teller. Miles Teller's also, I think, later 20s. Might even be 30.
See, it's just strange they're trying to get this guy to make. They got to make him look like he's 15, right?
Yeah.
At least.
Scott Eastwood, who is older as well. Basically putting Clint Eastwood as Han Solo. He looks exactly like him. Logan Lerman, that's a weird picture of him. But Logan Lerman's actually, I like him as an actor. He's a little bit younger than I am. He was in 3:10 to Yuma, Percy Jackson movies. Don't know if he quite looks like Han Solo at all, really, but I think he is a good actor. This guy I don't know, Emery Cohen. Don't know who he is.
Yeah.
Blake Jenner as well. I don't know his work. So of these actors, and that's not 12, but that's the actors that were released. I don't know why I said 12. Of the actors that were released, my vote is for Jack Rayner. I think because he just looks like a younger Harrison Ford. He has the height. I think he might need to slim down because Harrison Ford was like kind of a little more lean. This guy's kind of bulky.
Yeah, Harrison
lose some muscle.
Harrison Episode 4 was really lean.
Yeah. And he kind of. I think he just has. I think he's Irish actually, so he'd have to pull off an American accent. But I think he'd be the best one out of these guys, and he seemed like he's a decent enough actor. I just think everybody else is older or just doesn't even look the part. This guy Ansel Elgort kind of looks like Harrison Ford a little bit, I think, but Jack Rayner I think just looks pretty good as a younger Harrison Ford. And J.J. Abrams even said that if any of these actors, whoever's casted, wants to pull off a good young Han Solo, what they need to do to study is just watch Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, because he said everything you need is right there, which is a very interesting point to make. I guess just because like Indiana Jones acts so much more juvenile in ways. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but like it's just Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones are similar in some ways, and very different in a lot of other ways. But Abrams thinks you should look at Indiana Jones to study for young Harrison Ford. And the film is supposed to take place, Lawrence Kasdan said, 10 years before A New Hope.
10 years.
And Harrison Ford was around 30, maybe even 35, but he was around 33 when he made it. So he was, he was a full grown man, of course. So Jack Rayner is 25,
but he was
24.
playing a 20 what?
He was we said late 20s.
When we say like 28-year-olds or something like that.
Yeah. So this guy, Jack Rayner, I don't know if he can play a 15 or 16-year-old. I don't know if that's what they're trying to go for, because we still don't have a confirmed timeline necessarily of how old Harrison Ford or Han Solo is.
We don't. We don't have a birth year at all, right?
I think we're pretty safe in saying that he's late 20s by the time we get to A New Hope. And Jack Rayner would have to be 18, 19, which he might be able to pull off, I'm sure. He can. I mean, that's kind of the age he was supposed to be in Transformers, right? He's supposed to be kind of a teenager, late teens.
He was supposed to be...
Or
I think he was supposed to be a little older than his
daughter.
His
right?
daughter, who was a senior in high school, so maybe he was like 19, 20. Yeah.
I think he could pull it off. Probably it'd be fine. It's just, again, I'm afraid I might have to suspend my disbelief quite a bit to make the connection that this could easily lead into A New Hope. Just because I don't know. It's just maybe a lot of people. I don't know if a lot of people that you've even talked to. I don't know if you've even asked them if they would have a problem with casting a guy close in age, or because
haven't really talked about that. I mean, a lot of people that I've talked to at work aren't keen on seeing a Han Solo. I mean, seeing anybody else play Han Solo, which I was at first.
Yeah.
Also, because just the fact that I don't know, you can't. I mean, 10. If you're saying 10 years,
I mean, that is a long time.
It is a long time.
But if you're going from like 20 to 28 or 20 to 30, you're not changing that much.
You're not.
No.
That's why I think it has to be almost like 15 to 25.
Yeah. I mean, even me, the last 10 years, I look at, old high school video of myself. Like, I've slimmed down. I've, matured in the face a bit. I've kind of, my features have been more defined. I look pretty much the same, but there is a difference.
Yeah.
So you have to, I mean, this guy, I can, it's interesting. Maybe we're being too detailed about it. I don't know.
But that's why we actually, mentioned, we talked about how, like, if they would do any prosthetics or anything on their face to make him kind of look like Han Solo.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'll probably match the hair pretty exactly.
And that might be all you need to do, honestly.
Maybe.
For this guy, at least, for Jack over here.
Jack.
What was it from Batman? Was it You Ain't Got No Future, Jack?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't do birth. They don't do birth years.
Like, there's some of these actors that, like, I really hope they don't play. Like, I can't take Dave Franco. I mean, he's fine. He's hilarious. But as Han Solo, I don't know. I can't see him as Han Solo. Really, any of these guys.
I can't remember. Did you look up him in that book right there?
Yeah, I looked up in the encyclopedia here. It just says he's orphaned at a young age. Like right when the Clone Wars started.
It doesn't say. Oh, okay. So when the Clone War started, or what'd you say?
Yeah, like remember when the Clone Wars, or I think, well, maybe it was at the end of the Clone Wars. Hold on, let me see this gigantic book here. So there's Chewbacca. So right after that should be Han Solo, I hope. Oh, because you can hear me flipping through the pages, so you know I'm actually doing it. Lando is here. Okay, Han Solo. Says, Corellian birth. Han Solo is born on Corellia and orphaned at a young age. He lives on the street as a petty thief. And this is right before the Clone Wars end and the Empire begins.
He was orphaned right before.
It didn't say he was born. He was orphaned at a young age. So it looks like he was orphaned.
Right around episode 3?
Right, yeah, and then along when the Empire started, that kind of like year period or whatever you want to say there, that time period. So it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't give any clue of when he could have been born. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and this one too. The absolutely all you need to know. There's a little thing in here on Flyboy, and doesn't speak anything about his age or.
I wish it said it in the script, because the Force Awakens script.
Yeah,
made mention to ages.
Yeah,
but I think it was. I mean, I think we've always just heard that he, like, when we heard ages of the characters, that he was supposed to be late 20s, that kind of thing. So,
yeah, I always, I don't know, for some reason I always thought he was like 10 years older than Han and Luke, or Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
But like then we're into the 29 to 19 range.
Yeah.
Which, like you just said, isn't really that much of a change.
Yeah.
Because I think that's why I almost feel like these guys are a little older than what I was expecting. I was expecting kind of a late teens guy.
Yeah. See, if they casted me as Han Solo, I can play a 16-year-old.
You could,
if I just
easily.
shaved and throw some
Very
makeup
easily.
on the face.
Yes,
people.
very easily. I feel like these guys are, unless they can make them look completely.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys do look younger. I think
like
this guy,
him, and then
looks younger. Miles Teller.
I think he could look really young, to be honest.
He could look young. They would have to do some prosthetics for Miles Teller because I don't think he looks like Harrison Ford.
I agree. But you're right. That second guy does look like.
Yeah, I think he looks like he could be a younger.
Yeah,
'cause I looked at pictures of young Harrison Ford, and it's like he has that kind of young boyish face.
Right.
So he could be it. Who knows? I mean,
I think they're supposed to be
with it.
announcing it within the next couple of weeks because they want to. They want to get rolling on that.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the movie's 2 years away, but not 2. Yeah, 2 years away.
3
years away.
Shoot it.
2 years away.
No, 2 years.
2018.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They'll have to shoot it at the beginning of next year. So I think they're going to start.
Yeah. All right. So, well, that movie news is good.
Yeah, it's pretty much good. Good with movie news. There was a funny little thing with Colin Trevorrow about episode 8. Episode 9. About how there's apparently a petition going around. It's about George Lucas. They want George Lucas to come back.
I heard this.
And they asked Colin Trevorrow about it, and I think he was like, he didn't like, of course, I feel like I would be a little hurt by that, but honestly, I'd be like, hey, I mean, if anybody has to take it over for me, why not George Lucas? Although some people would think that would be the absolute death of Star Wars again if that happened. But he seemed to actually be okay with the idea.
Now, that would be...
Well, that'd be a cool twist.
For one, George would never do it.
Yeah.
Because how can you come back and direct a movie that you don't ultimately have control over? Mm-hmm. Because, let's face it, technically JJ and Kennedy would be running the show, right? I mean, they would be executive producing it. So he would basically be back to where he started at, and he wanted to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because he was always complaining how the studio had too much control. So I'm going to go make my own movies. How funny would it be if he comes back to a studio and directs?
Kind of his tail between. I feel like he'd be coming with his tail between his legs.
I agree. I agree. I don't think he'd do it, and obviously I don't think Disney would even do it anyway.
Yeah.
So, or Lucasfilm, that matter. So
Pretty cool. Pretty funny though.
But yeah, I saw that and I was like, wow, that's
I
never thought I would hear that.
And, people are talking, talking with students about Star Wars, which they like the prequels, but they understand some of the bad things about it. And I was telling them, and I was kind of realizing myself as I was saying it, like, a lot of people say they hate George Lucas with a passion, but if you go to Star Wars Celebration, he walks into a room and everybody erupts. So it's
and that's where we have realized, right, that of all the haters and naysayers online, you go to Celebration. Yeah, those are true Star Wars fans. I know there's true Star Wars fans out there that can't make it to Celebration. So that's not what I'm saying, but everybody there, the 60, 70,000 people that roll in that weekend, like you just said, every one of them would erupt and applaud George Lucas. And
they just enjoy the culture. They enjoy being around it. They they understand the flaws, like we understand the flaws, and we even we can be as vocal about some of the stuff with the prequels as everybody else, but they love Star Wars. They love all that there is involved in Star Wars.
And let's be honest, again, we've said it a million times. We're really talking about Jar Jar Binks.
That is a big thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people will say, "Oh, it's acting." He's not an acting director. They made those guys fall flat. But come on. Part of me is like, look, those guys are professionals too. I mean, they had their if basically they had their allowance with the character, they should have done what they wanted to do. Now, obviously, but that's the thing. The director has the ultimate say. So he directed them the way he wanted them to talk. I know a lot of people are like, well, Natalie was so flat and everything. Well, that's the way he wanted Queen Amidala to be.
Yeah.
Because she's not like that technically in episode 3. She's a lot looser because she's not a queen, right? So Anyway, and then Jake Lloyd, obviously, a lot of people are killing him over that. Did you see that last night? That there was a fake rumor going around that he died.
There was something about that a while back, actually, and I actually believed it for a good half of the day.
Yeah, well, it happened again last night. Apparently, people were like, I saw Twitter was like going crazy, like it's not real. He's okay, or something like that.
Yeah, but if you look at Hayden Christensen in episode 2, he's a whiny little boy, but he's a teenager, so that kind of fits. But if you look at that and immediately watch Revenge of the Sith afterwards, there is a maturity there.
Absolutely.
There's like a 180 degree change in his character and how he actually performs. So it kind of makes sense to me why, I can't really blame him that he's a bad, whiny, stupid actor character, whatever, because that's actually what it's supposed to be.
That's right.
So it makes sense to me.
And you can't tell me. And the crazy thing is everybody's okay with Kylo Ren throwing a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
But they're not okay with Anakin.
Yeah.
Because Kylo Ren is doing the same thing Vader did.
Yeah.
He's mad and he's
emotionally just like
unstable.
All over the place. Yeah.
And that's what Anakin was. But he had a right. His freaking mom died right in front of his arms.
Yeah.
And there's parts where he's like complaining about Obi-Wan and all that stuff. But I mean, he's a kid.
Yeah.
He's
18-year-old
kid.
17, 18,
yeah. So I don't know. I don't justify it all, but I didn't have a problem with Hayden.
Yeah.
There's definitely, and we talked about in the commentary, there's definitely major problems with episode 2.
Yeah.
That's why it's bottom of our list. Mm-hmm. And, because I think the story is what suffered there a little bit. But, 1 and 3, I mean, come on, the story's there.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to maybe get past some of the acting in it. Now, I remember also the other day, I saw an article. I actually didn't watch the video. I just read the kind of copy. But someone had interviewed Ahmed Best.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw this today, yeah.
Okay. Did you read about it?
I read some of his brief quotes about
basically how he's not going to, he's wanting to not do Jar Jar anymore, even though, basically because, and I don't know if it would come back up because he had come back for the Clone Wars.
Right.
But since Clone Wars are no more, I think he's obviously going to come back in Rebels or anything. But so unless they do bring him back, he's saying he's not going to come back as the voice or actor. But he made an interesting point.
Yeah.
About
purpose, kind of.
Well, not just that, but being the craft of stop motion before Andy Serkis.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
He was one of the first really motion captured characters, because at the time, you're talking 1997, 98 when they were shooting this thing. It was very difficult to do what they were, what they did, because he didn't have all the dots or whatever, right?
The dots or even the ping pong balls before that.
Right.
Yeah.
He was actually just in a costume.
Yeah.
With a fake, Jar Jar head so they can kind of get the eyes because it was on top of his head. But he would walk and do the walk motion, and then they digitally recreated a character overlaid him. So they didn't replace him necessarily. They had to kind of paint him out and overlay him, which is a lot harder process than it is now.
Yeah.
So, but I was an interesting point that he made. I mean, I almost feel bad for the guy, man. He's getting killed for it. Unfortunately, like someone like him kind of can't come to celebration. Yeah. Because I don't know if people would applaud him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder why a guy like him or Hayden hasn't shown up at something like that, because I'm sure they get a lot of unwarranted hatred is what is bad. Yeah. You may not like him, but man, just be respectful.
Absolutely.
Because I read somewhere too, again, like the Jake Lloyd thing, because the whole fake death thing, and then people were responding to it, and some saying like, I mean, literally, it was evil. Like some people were saying some evil things about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to repeat it.
Yeah.
But there are some people like coming to his defense and saying like, look, no one in the world in their right mind would turn down a role in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So don't, you can't necessarily blame him for, doing the role. I mean, it's just everyone out there, if someone's offered you a role in Star Wars, you'd take it. Mm-hmm. So you just got to be respectful in that sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to rant on
that. That's okay, man. Gotta do it.
But a little bit on the movie side, let's the Oscar nominations for The Force Awakens just got released today, and of course, none of the major categories
Mm-hmm.
as far as picture or writing, or I'm sorry,
Directing
Directing
or
or-
even actors.
yes. But they got the usual, which are film editing, Marianne Brandon and Mary Jo Markin. You got original score for John Williams. Visual effects, Robert Guitt, Patrick Tubach, Neil Scanlon, and Chris Carbold. Sound editing, Matthew Wood and David Accord. And sound mixing, Andy Nelson, Christopher Scarbosio, and Stuart Wilson. Yeah.
Good. I mean, that's kind of what you figured. I definitely think it could win the visual effects and then the 2 sound nominations.
I think, yeah,
I love the sound in it.
I agree with you. I think sound mixing and visual effects for sure
Yeah.
is great. Film editing, not really too fancy editing in there. It's a Star Wars movie. But this marks the most nominations for a Star Wars film since the release of the original.
Oh, wow.
Which received 10
Which received Best Picture.
and won 6 of them. Yes.
Beaten by Annie Hall for Best Picture.
Yes. Strikes Back received 3, including winning 2. Return of the Jedi nabbed 4 nominations with 1 win. Phantom Menace captured 3 nominations. Attack of the Clones and both received 1 nomination. So
Yeah, I don't know when the day will come when a movie like that will get nominated for Best Picture. Although Lord of the Rings was nominated and Avatar was nominated, and this year Mad Max was nominated, which I was very surprised about.
very surprised. That was not an Oscar
Like
movie.
these movies are nominated, although Lord of the Rings was great. But like Dark Knight, wasn't nominated, and that was less of a comic book action movie.
I
Than,
think Dark Knight was nominated, wasn't it?
not for Best Picture.
It wasn't?
Mm-mm. Pretty sure it
Oh.
was not. I'll
Wow.
double check myself, so I don't sound like an idiot. But
Because at that point they had 10 nominations, didn't they? By then? Or no?
perhaps.
Maybe.
Not
Yeah, check that out. I thought maybe it was. So the 6 I wonder I wish I would have looked this up. Do you know what the 6 Oscar wins that Star Wars did get? Because Lucas never won, right? He didn't win
I don't
for
think he's won anything.
writing
Yeah.
or directing for
I don't
that.
think so.
So it won basically visual effects and
So Dark Knight
that up.
was Best Actor, Best Sound, Cinematography. Yeah, they got rid of the cinematography award because I was looking for that.
I don't think so.
I didn't see cinematography.
no, I'm pretty sure a DP,
Yeah.
it gets a
Makeup, art, sound, visual. No Best Picture for that. For Dark Knight, that is. But are you looking up Star Wars there?
Yeah, I'm going to look up just real fast the 6 that it won because I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know it was nominated for like Best Picture, it was nominated for Best Screenplay. But I wanted to see. Let's see, where's it at?
Should be towards the top there usually, right below the yellow little bar going across, right down right there.
Oh yeah, here we go. So it got nominated. It won Academy Awards. It won Best Art Direction, Best Costume Design, Best Sound, Best Film Editing, Visual Effects, and Original Score. It was nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I knew that.
And Best Director.
Best Director and Best Writing, he was nominated, but
Okay.
he didn't win.
Yeah.
So those were the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, those were the 6 that it won, and then there's 10 nominated that year.
Awesome.
And the Golden Globe, it won Best Score, nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Motion Picture Actor in a Supporting Role, Alec Guinness. So Alec Guinness got a lot of love that year. That's great. That's great. And he hated being on the set. There was an article that came out earlier. But anyway. All right, moving on. Get to some real quick news. As far as TV goes, on Rebels, it returns next week, January 20th on Disney XD. And for those of you that have seen it, it has been released that another original character will be making an appearance.
Yes.
One that we have talked about for a long time.
Yeah.
Princess Leia
Yes.
will
Finally.
make her debut. And I think it's just a one-off episode. I don't think she's going to be a reoccurring character, obviously, yet. And what I've read so far, I did watch the clip, so it was a real brief clip. But what I read so far is it's actually pretty cool how she's actually has to fake being a Empire supporter, basically. Because when we see her, she's not, I think Kanan and Ezra kind of know who she is and find out who she is, but she's got to act as if she's working for the Empire, not the Rebel Alliance.
I'm just so
because it's technically it's not the Rebel Alliance yet. I don't think.
No, they're not.
They're just rebels.
Mm-hmm.
There's not an alliance yet.
Very curious as to see just where she is in this point in the timeline.
Yes,
just figuring out more about her.
Now, technically, so she's young. She's only 15, 16 years old.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the name, but she's voiced. Did you see this? She's voiced by the actress that voiced her in the Star Wars Uprising game.
Okay.
So the same girl who voiced her in that is so
cool.
So Carrie Fisher is not voicing her, obviously. Yeah. I thought it would be cool to bring back. I think her name's Catherine Tabor, who did Queen Amidala.
Right.
Padme.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been cool to bring her in to do that, but no, they used the same voice as the Uprising voice. So that's cool. So check that out next week, Wednesday night, 9:30. Or is it 9? I can't remember. 9:30 on the East Coast there. Yeah, Disney XD. Can't wait for that to come back. I did want to, we will, as we go, we'll catch up on the comics because we were kind of behind on that, but we did want to review and talk about one that's out there that I think you guys need to pick up, which is Vader Down. It's a 6-part series that started, and again, we're a little behind on this. It's a 6-part series that started, and it's only a one-shot that continues in crossing over with Vader and Star Wars. But wow, it's incredible.
It was pretty intense.
Think?
Yeah, because I love that we're seeing the side of Vader where he's just like this awesome soldier in a way. We kind of always knew he was just the baddest villain around, but really didn't get a sense of his power, honestly, for me at least, until that little movie of Rebels starting season 2, Caesar Lothal.
Yes.
Where he's in this TIE fighter taking out like a whole squadron of all these rebels. And then, we got that really cool, because we knew, Anakin Skywalker was a fantastic pilot, all that stuff, but then Darth Vader still has it. He can still take out and, hold his own amongst an entire army. And we get all of that again, but 10 times the amount in this first comic here. Vader's, it lives up to all the, to his own legacy in a way. Like, it's just incredible what he does.
It is. So basically what's happened in this really is he's on track. He's been tracking Luke Skywalker. He has discovered his identity as as his son, basically, and as the rebel who destroyed the Death Star. So he's finally tracked him down, and Luke is on a mission to find a Jedi temple to continue his training. And he finds him on a planet, was it Vargas Voss or something like that? Vargas Voss?
Yeah, Borgus Val, yeah.
And there's a really cool shot in there where Vader, that is, takes his TIE Advance. And, I didn't realize that has... Because TIE fighters don't have hyperspace.
Yeah, I always forget that.
Hyperdrive, but he does, apparently, on his Advance.
Deflector shields and all that kind of stuff. He's just more well-equipped, obviously.
So he jumps into hyperspace and land, and right when he comes out of hyperspace, there's 3 squadrons of X-Wings.
Yeah.
Like you just mentioned, and but one of them is Luke's in it. He's flying as Red 5. And, and then so they both end up crash landing on this planet, which sets up basically Vader against the rebellion. I mean, it is literally the last shot of this comic is phenomenal, and it continues. So that's part 1, and it continues in Vader 13 is part 2, Star Wars 13 is part 3, Vader 14 is part 4. Star Wars 14 is part 5, and then it finishes in Vader 15, which is part 6. So it's cool little first. Basically, it's the first crossover with the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
That they've done. So so we'll catch up on that. I think we're at the 14s right now. I don't think the last one has been out yet. So we'll catch up with that and kind of review that series in the next couple episodes. But really cool comic.
Yes.
And then of course in the other comic news, real quick, Marvel announces that Poe Dameron is getting his own miniseries.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that's what it seems like it's going on for those of you guys honestly, for those of you that are maybe on the fence about picking up a comic or two, if you want an ongoing series, I think you definitely got to read Star Wars.
Yes.
Because that is going to be an ongoing series.
Absolutely.
And probably it looks like Vader is too. And it's a good crossover because they kind of complement each other. They're kind of at the same time.
They are. I mean, they are the best.
They are,
ones.
yeah, by far. But all the other books are just miniseries. Because I think we kind of questioned whether or not Leia was going to continue or Orlando was going to continue. But those are pretty much just 5-6 episode or 6-issue series. So you can wait, if you want to actually, buy the trade and just kind of read the whole story. Leia's trade is out there. There's the Shattered Empire is out there, which is the 4-issue series that came right after episode 6. And then you got Chewbacca that's almost finished up, and then Lando's finished up. That trade's coming out. Kanan is actually ongoing right now, which is surprising. I think that's up to number 9. So I don't know how long that's going to go. That may go as long as Rebels is going. I mean, that may be an ongoing series. So some of these, of course, we'll tell you which ones, but just if you want to wait to just get into a story, you could probably wait for a lot of these kind of miniseries. Again, like Poe Dameron is going to be a miniseries. So, and it's written by Charles Soule.
Yes,
which is by far one of my favorite writers. Which I was bummed because he stopped writing for DC. He's solely for Marvel.
Yeah,
but Marvel is Star Wars. So, and then art's going to be by Phil Noto, and it's debuting this April. So this April we'll get a Poe Dameron miniseries. Looks like April's in conjunction with the release of it on Blu-ray. So, all right. So last thing I kind of want to talk about, unless you got something else. Last thing was this this visual effects video that we talked about before we started recording.
Yeah.
So those of you who haven't seen that on StarWars.com, I think it's on StarWars.com, right? Did I see it on StarWars.com?
I saw it somewhere else, but
I did see it somewhere else, I think.
Is that right there? That first one on the left?
No, that's Solist.
That's Dominations.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think I've seen it on here. Even though I definitely know it's on Star Wars.
Well, when I first saw it, it was off a YouTube channel, but then it got removed or it was like private or something like that, and they reposted it. So it might not even be like they might not want that around.
It might not. I don't know. I feel like is that something that's going to be on the Blu-ray? I guess
maybe. I don't think so. I would hope so.
So anyway, it's a visual. It's a 10-minute video. It's a visual effects comparison of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Showing the original what was shot or the plate, what they call plates, and then you have the finished effects. Sometimes it's showed an extra window with the or a second overlay effect or something like that, or the animatronic or something like that. So what'd you think about it?
Oh, this is awesome. I watched it this morning when I got into work. 'Cause I always love stuff like this, raw footage or behind the scenes, or just to see how they do it. And it was incredible to see the amount of visual effects that went into Star Wars. And I assume that there would have been a lot, of course, because there's a lot of space and ships flying around. So you knew all that had to have been digital for the most part. But even in terms of the ships, like it's surprising to see of the ships what was real, what was fake. When they're, we can talk about specifics in a second, but it was a very enlightening video to me about what was real, what was fake. Very surprised about some stuff, and expected a lot of other things.
Yeah, like I thought, and the one thing I thought of towards the end of that video was, this isn't, you know, a lot of people are praising JJ for using a lot of practical sets and practical. I'm like, did people not realize or did they not see the same movie I did? But there was just as much practicality in the prequels as there was in this.
Yeah. Episode 2, there was quite a bit of digital. I mean, you could at least tell it was really digital. Maybe that's why people are hating it, because you can tell more so in the prequels that it's digital.
Well, yeah, and I think mainly because Coruscant has to be digital.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
Majority of that movie, of those
much.
prequels, takes place on Coruscant.
Yeah,
But I was surprised, like in this, it showed like that shot of Rey taking her goggles off.
Yeah.
And she's not on a desert planet.
yeah. I mean, they shot there at the airmets there quite a bit, but yeah, there was like some one shot where it's like out of focus, and she takes off her goggles, and it comes back into focus, and you see like this desert behind her. Yeah, and it was all
A set.
It was all blue screen.
Yeah,
it was
all
green screen, whichever one.
And so
it's
that shot
incredible.
of that, you know, they went and shot somebody. It probably wasn't Rey. It probably wasn't Daisy Ridley. You know, sliding down the sand. You know?
Which the sledding part was real, but
Yeah.
of course they extended it. The set they extended the Star Destroyer there. But there was, I mean, Maz's basement, her little cellar. That's all fake.
That's all
That's all
fake.
blue. That's all blue screen.
Yep.
Which I didn't even think. First, I was like, well, why? You know, why would you make that? I feel like you can easily make that set or find a set like that if you want to be practical about it. But no, it's 100% fake.
Yeah, I bet you it had something to do with her, because she had to be 100%.
Because of
you
Maz.
you had Lupita there
Yeah.
with Daisy, but Daisy was the one that was blue screened,
Yeah.
if you notice, right? So Daisy was blue screened so that they can lift her and then fill Maz in, and then fill the background in, and then put Daisy back in. So Daisy's technically the only practical thing in there, like you said. So it's like,
And
but
some props perhaps.
you know, it's so much better now. You can't tell.
You can't tell at all.
No, I mean, half that stuff you could. I mean, I really couldn't tell.
Like
I mean,
Maz's castle, which
I thought they built the Millennium Falcon again, but it was digital.
well, they built
They
build
did.
it for some of those
But the time when
shots.
they're running at it, it's
Yeah.
fake.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, I thought but I know they built it they probably just built it in a studio where they did the cockpit stuff
Yeah.
in the interior.
And I wonder, and I think the Resistance base, is it there? 'Cause I thought I remember seeing some paparazzi shots where it was under a tarp or something. I don't know. But like, it's in there, so I wonder if that's fake or not, you know?
Yeah, I know the outside where they landed the X-Wings was practical.
Yeah.
You know, but
That's pretty...
they used the hillside or whatever. But
pretty interesting. And then, you know, because a lot of the creatures are practical. I mean, of course,
in the cantina.
In the cantina, BB-8 is practical for the most part. He still had
Yeah.
some digital moments where he's running or flipping around in the Falcon. But I mean, Charlie and Snoke, of course, was motion capture. But the one thing that really surprised me the most was, and it didn't really specify which scene it was with Kylo Ren talking to Snoke. Might have been the first one. I don't know, actually. Could you figure it out?
I think it was, to be honest, I think
When he's
it
talking
was
about-
the time we was talking about Han Solo.
The first time we reveal it's like,
Yes.
you're a father, Han Solo.
I feel like maybe they shot it
nothing
with
to
his
me.
mask off.
Yeah, they filmed it. You saw a shot of Adam Driver performing without his mask. Didn't even look like he was in full costume. And then he's on blue screen, of course.
And they replace him.
Yeah, they totally replaced him with the digital Kylo Ren. You know, you see the mask, you see the hood, he's in the set. Incredible. Like, first of all, I mean, I'm amazed that they did that, because it looks... never would have considered
No.
that was digital. But I'm also interested in why they did it, because I guess because you still get that performance of Kylo Ren, you know, acting with his face, and you're just putting a mask on it, but you still get that amazing performance out of it. You know, it's just it's a weird. I think it's out in a way. It's controversial in a way, because
It is.
but it's just incredible that they would do that. And then there's another part where when Poe and Finn are escaping the Star Destroyer, you know, the set.
Yeah.
There's pretty much a lot of the set is there, a lot of green screen, but like the TIE fighters, when it's on the rack, the wings of the TIE fighter are practical, but the cockpit part is digital.
Yeah. It's
You know,
green
so
screen.
it's interesting that what is real, what is fake. You know, it's just really cool stuff. And at the end, when they're doing the lightsaber battles, they're fighting with Force FX lightsabers. It
Yes.
looks like. You know, stuff the more movie quality ones that
Which is which is kind of stunning to me that they didn't always do that. They didn't do it in the prequels. You know, I know they thought of because you get that glow effect.
Yeah,
you don't have to do that digitally. You know, because it does make you wonder if you watch like any of the movies, you don't see the light reflecting really.
I went episode 2, but I feel like they just got because you don't. Really
they were at
see
glow sticks.
Yeah,
they were using glow sticks that one
Yeah.
time. Just when the lights went out.
Yeah.
You know, because if you notice,
you don't see
they're not
much of anything.
touching.
They're just flipping
Yeah,
past their face.
yeah. Just I mean,
I
it's
meant to miss.
yeah. Because then the next, if you watch that, then the next cut was a wide shot where they finally start clashing. You don't see their faces anymore. It's dark.
Yeah.
So the glow's gone. So they which is surprising. It is a little surprising to me that Lucas didn't pay attention to that detail. Didn't have people add glow onto their faces, you know?
Yeah.
But no, they didn't.
And this one was cool because it's, you know, watching them because I'm thinking like, if those are the Force FX lightsabers that, you know, we have, those like, you know, $120 ones or whatever that you aren't really supposed to play with because they could break.
Maybe they're cool.
Maybe
to break.
it's like,
Or
'cause
not
I
break.
have fought with them before and they're
Yeah.
not broken, but like, maybe that's why also they're not.
I think
crazy with
I think they had something different though. I think they had something more stable.
They didn't go down to Walmart and buy a couple of lightsabers.
Probably not. And they who knows? They probably broke a few while they were doing it.
Yeah, they could.
Maybe. But yeah, very very cool video. Again, I just it's I don't know. It's hard for me to say like, oh, he went back to the roots and did everything practically when they didn't.
Yeah, you can really only say that about the characters, the creatures. I mean, the aliens in the cantina.
Yeah,
really, it's because it is incredible what they do. And Jakku with the big, like, huge creatures that was drinking from the water.
Yes.
So that was good.
Was that practical?
That was practical.
That
was a real big thing that they
Oh.
5 guys in there.
Wow.
Because Abrams talks about how they had to like jam an air conditioning up the butt of it to cool off the guys inside of the
that's cool.
the animatronic.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So other than that, I think that's just the latest stuff on the Star Wars universe right now. The last thing I'll say before we kind of redo our book here is, if those of you who don't know, the Star Wars The Force Awakens poster has been popping up on retails around. Fortunately, you will have to spend about $350 if you want one. Which is unfortunate because I want one. So anyway, it's out there.
Yeah.
If you can find it cheaper, it'd be. I'm just telling you right now, it's retailing for about $350. So find one cheaper, all power to you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to doing what we used to do, and we got 2 books here. We kind of read something from canon wise. We usually do a profile character. That's Casey or something from that book.
Yeah.
Ultimate Star Wars.
Yeah, DK Publishing. Ultimate Star Wars, characters, creatures, locations, technology, vehicles. So this week, we're going back to the characters and creatures. And the character that's briefly talk about, because it's a short little blurb about him, Captain Panaka. The old Captain Panaka there from episode 1. So he appears only in episode 1. His species is human, is from Naboo. His affiliation is Royal Naboo Security Forces. I mean, pretty much what you know is what you see is what you get from him in the movie. You know, he's the head of Queen Amidala's security forces, personally oversees her safety. He's with her the whole time. And he kind of complains quite a bit in the movie, actually. One little thing that caught my eye reading about him over here. It says, the highly capable Captain Panaka leads the Naboo Royal Security Forces, the closest thing to a regular infantry on Naboo. Then it says, intensely loyal, Panaka fights alongside Padme during the Battle of Naboo as they face heavy fire in the halls of the Theed Palace. Intensely loyal is actually a lie, because Captain Panaka does not come back in episode 2 or 3. Well, the actor doesn't come back.
Yeah.
He is actually one of the ones that did have a problem with the film, correct?
He did. as far as what I remember, he hated
Yeah.
the digital effects and all the green screen stuff, and
So basically, that's why we got Captain Typho.
it's strange is I have no idea what his name is. I've never seen him in anything else.
Yeah, no, right?
I don't know who he
Dude.
is.
Stuck with Star Wars.
So-
He might have more of a career, but I mean, he did fine in the movie. He was fine. It's just funny because he's not that loyal if he didn't stick with Star Wars. But he might have his own agenda. He might be happy. Who knows with what his decision to not be a part of Legacy. So that's Captain Panaka. Short little blurb about him in this book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I don't know where I was in this book,
That's
but
all right. Just
I wanted to pick something. This is from absolutely everything you need to know. This is one of the Journey of the Force Awakens books. We started reading some of it out of it.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
This book is pretty incredible. It's got so many little facts and tidbits. And
I mean, it's filled.
Yeah.
Every page is just like overwhelmingly filled. So it's hard to. Let's see. Here we go. I'll just do this. Top 5. This looks like it's a Yoda's page almost. Top 5 Yoda's wit and wisdom. So 1 is number 1. Or I'll go number 5.
yeah.
Always pass on what you have learned. 4, excitement, adventure, A Jedi craves not these things. So this is I mean, everybody knows it. 3, my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. 2, size matters not. Judge me by my size, do you? And number 1, of course, is do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah. It's 5 favorite quotes there.
So I mean. Yeah, it's canon, so it's a lot of stuff you've already known.
Like it's got other things like age-wise and like all these other little facts and trivia pieces about the character and that kind of stuff. It's really cool.
Oh, here's it. It's actually okay. This is pretty cool. So in numbers, 20,000 Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
The estimated number that Yoda has trained over his lifetime.
Jeez.
So 900 years, of course, is Yoda's age. 800 years, how long Yoda has been training. And 23 years is the period of Yoda's exile on Dagobah. So, pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
When Yoda first hears the voice of Qui-Gon Jinn's Force Spirit, he thinks he's having a hallucination and has a full medical checkup. Crazy. All right. So, of course, we'll keep reading stuff out of that as we go on, too. So, great books.
Yes.
If you guys want to read some more about Star Wars and kind of get by on trivia and your friends and all that stuff, it's pretty crazy stuff. All right, guys, that'll do it for this episode of Inside the Force. Of course, InsideTheForce.com is where we're at. Listen to all the past podcasts there and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or TuneIn Radio if you want to get us on a regular basis. We're here every week for you talking about Star Wars. And, of course, we are just, again, we're starting the year off and we're months away from Rogue One. So we will continue to keep monitoring what's out there. And, again, I think the first teaser is what we're telling, or trailer is coming on Civil War, which comes out in May. So probably don't look for much about it until then. All right, Rebels back next Wednesday, so we'll talk about that next week. Hope everybody has a great weekend. For Casey Cooley?
Well, you tell them that Han Solo just stole back the Millennium Falcon for good.
From The Force Awakens. Huh?
I'm going to do probably a few Force Awakens quotes
Nice.
the next few weeks or so. I like that one because it's just so interesting that,
This is the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
You're Han Solo?
Yeah, I was. And the whole,
Yeah.
parsecs line is so good.
Yeah, very good.
It's just funny that the Falcon keeps getting stolen. I love that.
All right. Actually, you used to get lost in bets, and now it
Yeah.
gets stolen. But whatever. All right, guys. Appreciate all the support and all the listeners. Take care. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys next week. He's Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
Kryptonia1138 on Twitter. I am D Cottingham21 on Twitter. Have a great time out there. Go see The Force Awakens, and may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.